Satellite video shows the impact of catastrophic flooding in Nepal and Tibet. Authorities there say the flooding killed more than 390 people. At least 1,400 others are reported missing after the collapse of a glacier that caused the massive flooding. Joining us this afternoon to talk more about this tragic situation is Brandee Carlson, a professor of geomorphology at the University of Houston. Professor, welcome to our show and thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Before we dive into some questions about what's happening over in Nepal, can you just give us a sense about the focus of your work and what geomorphology is exactly?
Yeah, so geomorphology is basically the shape of Earth, so what forms landscapes. And I like to say it's the science of scenery. And my specific expertise is in how water and sediment move through landscapes that have been impacted by glaciers.
Okay, so I definitely think this contributes to the conversation we're about to have. It's my understanding that some of your recent work has focused on permafrost in Greenland specifically. So how does understanding that factor into what we're seeing in this disaster that played out in Nepal?
So, of course, scientists are still working on confirming the exact cause of what happened in Nepal. But one of the leading theories is that, warming in this region has significantly thawed permafrost, and it's thought that that thawed permafrost has destabilized rock and sediment on the steep slopes of the Himalayas, and that destabilization of bedrock caused a landslide that also destabilized a huge mass of a glacier. And that, of course, all fell into a river valley and caused the floods that we have seen in Nepal.
Yeah, a cascading series of disasters, one after the other with this situation. Some scientists I'm reading about right now are linking this to climate change at the moment. So help us understand about how that maybe played a factor.
Right. So, in terms of climate change, scientists again are still finalizing the cause, but certainly the broader pattern is not in dispute. This is a region that is warming 2 times faster than the global average, and there's extensive documented loss of permafrost that's associated with that, along with glacial retreat. And it will take months of work for scientists to actually attribute something like climate change to the events that we are seeing. But undoubtedly, climate change changes the frequency and the magnitude with which these events occur. And we do expect to see that trend continue into the future.
Even though this disaster happened so recently, how should other places around the world look at this situation and maybe think about the future?
So other places around the world have experienced similar situations. So in the past several years, Italy, Switzerland, and India have all experienced flooding related to glaciers. And of course, monitoring systems are one way that we can help people respond to these events. I will say that in Nepal, there is a monitoring system in place. And one of their focuses, though, is looking at glacial outburst floods. So these are floods that are caused by lakes that sit in front of glaciers and can sometimes catastrophically overflow. So we're good at monitoring those lake levels. And I will say that, what we saw here was not a glacial outburst flood. That's not what the data are showing so far. And that means that we would need a very different kind of monitoring system in place for an event like this for people to be able to respond.
Of course, that may lead to conversations in the future about what that might look like specifically. Is that what you're kind of looking to the future to see what will arise from this situation?
Absolutely. And as you mentioned previously, cascading effects are part of this, that is the story here. And some of the research that I've been focusing on is just actually, interactions between sediment and ice. So it turns out just the act of freezing and thawing sediment actually decreases the sediment's strength. And so when we're looking at a place like the Himalayas or, high latitude places like Greenland, their frequency with which with which these landscapes experience freeze and thaw actually directly impacts the strength of the sediments, which, to put in other words, it impacts how frequently and what magnitude of landslides or slope failures would occur.
Yeah, certainly a scary situation to really think about all of that effect. Brandee Carlson with the University of Houston, thank you again for joining us and for sharing your expertise. We appreciate your perspective on this.
Thank you very much for having me.